All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into the world of U.S. insurance companies.
It's good.
So we're going way beyond like all those flashy ads you see,
Yeah.
and we're going to dig deep into what really makes these companies tick
Mm,
so you can feel confident about, choosing the right one for you.
right.
And to help us out with this, we've got a great resource to guide us.
Okay.
It's a top 10 best insurance companies list from the Top 10's website,
Okay.
which is totally packed with user reviews and company descriptions.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a really awesome starting point because it gives us that kind of real, pulse on what customers are actually experiencing,
Right.
both good and bad. So we can use that to kind of cut through all that marketing hype
Mm-hmm.
and get to the heart of what really matters, your
Exactly.
peace of mind
Yeah.
and your financial well-being.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's unpack this list.
Okay.
Kicking things off, we've got some industry giants,
All right.
Liberty Mutual,
Mm-hmm.
AIG.
And Amica.
Okay.
Now, Liberty Mutual,
Yeah.
with their long history going all the way back to 1912,
Wow.
really emphasizes putting policyholders first.
That's good.
There's even a review in here that talks about how they focus on getting people back on their feet,
Okay.
not just like offering the cheapest option.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Yeah.
And it really speaks to their commitment to like comprehensive coverage and support
Mm-hmm.
rather than just that kind of bare bones approach.
Yeah.
It's also fascinating to note that Liberty Mutual offers a pretty wide range of insurance solutions,
Oh.
like auto home commercial,
Oh, wow.
which could be incredibly convenient, for bundling your policies and potentially saving money.
Bundling. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to AIG.
Okay.
They've got this reputation for serving affluent clients
Mm-hmm.
with like top-notch coverage.
Okay.
One reviewer even mentioned that they default on the overpayment side of things
Wow.
to keep clients happy.
I mean, talk about going the extra mile.
Yeah, it certainly suggests a strong commitment to customer satisfaction,
Yeah.
but it also kind of raises an important question.
Okay.
Does this mean higher premiums for everyone to cover those overpayments?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's something to consider when you're comparing quotes and coverage options.
Right.
Additionally, AIG's global reach and their extensive history,
Yeah.
could suggest a certain level of stability and financial strength,
Okay.
which can be a very reassuring factor for policyholders.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah,
Stability is definitely something you'd want in an insurance company.
for sure.
Next up, we have Amica, are
Um.
consistently earning top marks for customer satisfaction.
Good.
They've even snagged that prestigious J.D. Power Award for 15 years in a row.
Wow.
One reviewer simply stated, simply the best, better than all the rest.
Haha.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm is contagious.
Yeah.
But even beyond just the sheer delight, that consistent recognition from J.D. Power
Mm-hmm.
really speaks volumes about Amica's commitment to quality and customer satisfaction.
Yeah, for sure.
However,
Okay.
while those accolades are impressive,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to remember that, individual experiences can always vary.
Of course.
We did actually find some negative reviews for Amica as well,
Interesting.
highlighting the need to kind of read a variety of reviews and not rely solely on awards or, top 10 lists.
Okay, so awards are great, but digging a little deeper is key.
Exactly.
Now let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
to a company that takes a kind of unique approach,
Right.
AFLAC, with their focus on supplemental insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly adds supplemental insurance,
Right.
and why might it be relevant to me?
So supplemental insurance is designed to cover those expenses that your primary health insurance might not fully address.
Okay.
So think about those out-of-pocket costs after like an accident or an illness,
Yeah.
deductibles, copays, even lost income due to disability.
Oh, wow.
Supplemental insurance can help bridge that gap. And Aflac is a prime example of that.
Right. And we actually found a pretty powerful review from an AFLAC user who was burned in a fire.
Oh, wow.
They said AFLAC covered their short-term disability, their burns, even their hospital stay.
Wow.
They were incredibly thankful they had that coverage.
Yeah, that personal anecdote really highlights the value of supplemental insurance,
Mm-hmm.
especially in those unexpected and challenging situations.
Yeah.
It's not just about protecting like your possessions,
Mm-hmm.
but also your ability to kind of maintain your lifestyle and financial stability if something unexpected happens.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's talk about something that's super important to everyone.
Okay.
Customer service.
Yes.
The companies that really shine in this area, according to our list, are
Let's hear it.
AAA State Farm and USAA.
Good ones.
Yeah. So really great customer service in the insurance industry boils down to a few key things. Responsive agents, clear communication, and a smooth claims process.
For sure, and we see this reflected in the reviews for these companies.
Yeah.
AAA is praised for its terrific coverage and wonderful customer service, while State Farm is highlighted for its agents who have skin in the game
Right.
and prioritize customer satisfaction.
Yes. And USAA,
Uh-huh.
which is known for its dedication to military families,
Right.
consistently receives high praise for its impeccable service.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
But even with all these glowing reviews,
Mm-hmm.
we did find a negative review for Allstate,
Oh, no.
where a user felt abandoned and mistreated during an accident.
Oh, that's awful.
This just goes to show that, experiences can vary widely, even with well-known companies.
It's a great reminder that research is key.
Yeah.
Don't just rely on one or two reviews.
Right.
Look for those patterns and those common themes to get a more balanced perspective on a company's strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so we've covered the big players at the top of the list, but I'm kind of curious about some of the other companies further down.
Yeah, that's where things get really interesting. There are so many options out there, each with its own unique approach and target audience.
Right, like Farmers, known for its agent-based approach,
Mhm.
Travelers, with its long history going all the way back to 1853,
Wow.
and Primerica, which emphasizes financial education alongside insurance.
Interesting.
Let's dive into those next.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Let's explore what makes these companies tick and how their approaches might align with your specific needs and priorities.
Exactly. All right, stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
All right, so we're venturing a little bit beyond those top dogs of the insurance world.
Okay.
We've got Farmers, Travelers, and Primerica on deck.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell me about their kind of unique approaches?
Well, let's start with Farmers.
Okay.
Their focus on agents who are, deeply embedded in local communities.
Yeah.
That could be a real advantage.
Okay.
Imagine working with an agent who understands the specific risks and needs of your area.
Right.
That personalized touch
Hmm.
can be invaluable, especially when it comes to things like, homeowners insurance.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's like having a neighbor who also happens to be your insurance expert.
exactly.
Okay. What about Travelers?
Okay.
What sets them apart?
Travelers brings a wealth of experience to the table.
Okay.
Their long history, going all the way back to 1853,
Wow.
suggests a certain level of stability and reliability.
Hmm.
They've weathered economic storms and industry shifts,
Right.
which could give you confidence in their ability to handle your claims, fairly efficiently.
Experience definitely matters,
Yeah,
especially when you're entrusting a company with your financial security.
absolutely.
And Primerica,
Yeah,
they seem to take a very different approach, emphasizing financial education.
that's right. Primerica's approach really focuses on empowering clients
Okay.
to make informed decisions about their insurance and financial planning.
Mm-hmm.
They even have a review from a client who felt much more confident about their choices after a conversation with their Primerica representative.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes me wonder, do other companies just assume you already know all the ins and outs of insurance?
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
While most companies DO offer resources and educational materials,
Mm,
Primerica seems to make it a core part of their approach,
right.
which could be beneficial for those who feel overwhelmed or unsure about, navigating the insurance landscape.
So it's not just about selling you a policy, it's about giving you the tools to understand what you're buying.
Exactly.
That's a pretty refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
Now, we've touched on some companies with, stellar reputations,
Mhm.
but what about those with more mixed reviews?
Right.
I'm thinking about companies like Geico and The Hartford,
Ah, yes, the
Yes.
companies that spark some debate.
right?
Geico's a great example.
Okay.
Loved by some for their straightforward claims handling,
Mm-hmm.
but others find their coverage options to be a little limited or their customer service to be less than stellar.
And The Hartford,
Yeah.
while praised for their focus on policyholders,
Has received criticism for certain aspects of their service,
Right.
like confusing communication or delays in processing claims.
This is where it gets really interesting
Okay.
and where your own research becomes crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rely solely on one source of information.
Right.
Look beyond the catchy jingles in the marketing campaigns.
Okay.
Read independent reviews, compare quotes, talk to people you trust, who have experience with these companies.
It sounds like you're saying to trust but verify.
Exactly.
Don't just take their word for it. Do your own digging.
Yeah, and remember what works for your neighbor or your best friend
Mm,
might not be the best fit for you.
right.
It's all about finding the company whose values, coverage options, and customer service style
Right.
align with your individual needs and priorities.
Okay, so we've talked about these companies in a pretty general sense,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm really curious to hear more about some of those specific user reviews we mentioned earlier. Those real-life experiences.
Can really shed light on what it's actually like to be a customer of these companies.
I agree. Let's delve into those reviews and see what insights we can glean.
Okay, starting with Amica. We
Okay.
came across this review that simply stated, "Simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Simply the best J.D. Power winners. 15 years in a row. Unheard of. A small, quiet carrier."
Wow.
I mean, that's some serious enthusiasm.
It's wonderful to see such a happy customer.
Yeah.
And while their poetic praise might be a tad subjective, the reference to J.D. Power's consistent recognition is a more objective indicator
Right.
of their commitment to quality.
Those awards aren't just handed out for nothing.
Exactly.
Next, we have a pretty powerful story
That's
from an Aflac user who experienced the true value of their supplemental coverage firsthand. They shared, "I love my Aflac. I was burned in a fire a few years ago, and it paid for short-term disability as well as for my burns and hospital stay. I don't know what I would have done without my Aflac. I am thankful that I had Aflac through work for 16 years. It's the best insurance to have."
That's a poignant reminder that insurance isn't just about protecting material possessions.
Right.
It's about having a safety net when life throws those unexpected curveballs, like an accident or a serious illness.
And that safety net can make all the difference
Absolutely.
in your financial and emotional well-being during a difficult time.
For sure.
Okay, moving on to a review about AAA.
Okay.
That highlights the importance of responsive and helpful customer service. The reviewer said so far much better than Hartford. The reviews on Hartford are terrible, and those on AAA are much better. There will always be some negatives, but AAA has many more positives than Hartford. Terrific coverage and wonderful customer service. Great customer service, always willing to help.
It's interesting that they directly compared their experience with AAA to their previous experience with the Hartford.
Yeah.
It highlights how individual needs and preferences can shape our perception of what constitutes good customer service.
So true. One person's ideal experience might be another person's nightmare.
Exactly.
All right, let's delve into the State Farm review
Okay.
that emphasizes the value of personalized service and having an agent who truly understands your needs. The reviewer raved about their experience, saying, "State Farm is the #1 auto fire and individual life insurance provider in the U.S. They have twice as many customers as their nearest competitor. There must be a reason for this. They offer over 100 products, so it can be a one-stop shop. They have agents who have skin in the game, so they care, and customer service is the top priority." Insurance coverage is never apples to apples. For example, State Farm offers permissive use on their auto insurance, which many companies do not, and actual loss on their homeowners policies, where many companies have a cap. If their price is a little higher, this may be why. If you have to pay a little more for peace of mind and a sense of security, then do it. We all pay in excess of $100 for our cell phone and television bills each month. Why wouldn't you pay over $100 to insure your brand new Chevrolet, Ford, Hyundai, Toyota, Nissan, Acura, Honda, Dodge, Lexus, Mercedes, BMW, Range Rover, etc.?
That review really dives into the nitty-gritty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It underscores the fact that insurance isn't just about finding the cheapest option.
Right.
Sometimes paying a slightly higher premium
Yeah.
translates to better coverage, more personalized service,
Right.
and a smoother claims experience.
It's about weighing the costs and benefits
Yeah,
to find the right balance for your individual needs and risk tolerance.
exactly.
Okay, buckle up for this next one.
Right.
It's a longer review about Allstate,
Okay.
and it really sheds light on how things can go wrong,
Oh.
even with a well-known company. The reviewer shared this rather unfortunate experience. "Like a fool, I left Allstate and went with State Farm. At the time, I was between a rock and a hard place. I listened to the agent as we spoke on the phone. It all sounded great, and it was until my first auto accident I called my agent while I was at the accident site. The reply I got was, 'Oh, you have to call the 800 number.' My reply was, 'I need help now.' I never had that problem with Allstate. Once I was released from the emergency room and got home, I phoned the claims department with State Farm. They asked if I was given a sobriety test by the police. I said no, why? Then she asked if there was a drug screen done at the emergency room. Again, I said, no, why? She said, because the people you hit said you were acting like you were under the influence of alcohol or drugs. I told her, first of all, they ran the traffic light, and there were 2 police officers and a fireman within kissing distance, so to speak, of me. I feel sure if there was alcohol in my system or if I was on drugs, they would have said something. She said, well, I will know the truth when I get the hospital report. There was no emergency room report to be had. I was x-rayed, and they did an MRI on my head. 2 hours later, I went home. She also asked me if I do any type of drugs. I told her that I'm a type 2 diabetic and I take medication for that. She asked what the medications were. I told her I take metformin and Fibrozilla. She then said, that is diabetic medication, I replied. That's what I said. I didn't get a chance to give my side of the story to the police or anyone else. I asked her again who brought up the sobriety check and drug test. She told me it was in the police report. I went and picked up a copy of the police report and read it twice. Nowhere, and I mean nowhere, did it say anything about the other people saying I was on drugs or drunk. To this day, I feel like I've been tagged and labeled as a drunk in Namora.
Wow, that's quite an ordeal.
Yeah.
It definitely underscores the importance of feeling comfortable and confident with your insurance provider, especially when you need to file a claim.
Right, when you're in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is to feel like your insurance company is questioning your integrity.
Right.
Or making the process even more difficult.
It's essential to choose a company that you trust.
Yeah.
To have your back and to advocate for you.
Right.
Especially when you need them most.
Absolutely. Let's move on to a review about farmers.
Okay.
That touches on a common concern for policyholders. What happens after you file a claim?
Right. Yeah.
The reviewers shared this reassuring experience. Farmers pays you when you have a claim, but they don't turn around and cancel you after you use your insurance like many other companies do.
This speaks to the fear of being penalized for actually utilizing your insurance.
Yeah.
It's a valid concern.
Right.
Farmers' reputation for fair treatment, even after a claim, can be a big factor in building trust and loyalty with their customers.
It's like you don't want to feel like you're being punished
for
needing the very service you're paying for.
Exactly.
Okay, this next review about Travelers is really heartwarming.
Okay.
It emphasizes the human element of insurance and how a company can truly care for its customers.
Yeah.
The reviewer gushed about their experience saying, perfect company with great people who truly care about you and your family's things. Best customer service I've ever had every time. Been with them for over 10 years. Very good company to deal with and priced right.
It's lovely to hear about a company that goes above and beyond.
Yeah.
To provide that personal touch and genuine care for its customers.
It's like they're not just processing your claim.
Right.
They're treating you with empathy and understanding during a potentially difficult time.
Exactly. And that can make a huge difference in your overall experience.
Absolutely. And speaking of exceptional service,
yeah,
let's not forget about USIA, a company that consistently receives praise for their dedication to military families. This reviewer sums up their long-standing loyalty perfectly. We have been insured by USAA for over 45 years, and due to their impeccable service, we will never switch to any other company. We first got coverage while my husband was in the Navy. Yeah. We are now retired and have never been treated better by any company. Claims are handled promptly, and to our complete satisfaction, USAA is for us for life.
It's clear that USAA has built a strong foundation of trust and loyalty with their customer base, particularly within the military community.
They seem to really understand the unique needs and challenges faced by military families and go the extra mile to provide support and exceptional service.
And that commitment to a specific niche can be a major selling point for customers who feel understood and valued by their insurance provider.
Okay, last but not least,
right,
we have this insightful review about Primerica that really drives home the importance of financial literacy. When it comes to making informed decisions about insurance, the reviewer expressed their gratitude saying, the only company that I have encountered that is willing to sit down with us and educate us on insurance so that we can make the best decision. The information the representative gave matched the research I had done, as well as what other consumer advocates have said. It makes me wonder how many people are being sold something they don't need, but benefits the agent or company more than the consumer. They offer very competitive rates, too. I am a Primerica client for life.
This review highlights the power dynamic that can sometimes exist between insurance companies and consumers.
Yeah.
Primerica's approach, which prioritizes education and transparency, can empower customers to feel more confident in their choices and less like they're being sold something they don't need.
It's like they're saying knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more you understand about insurance, the better equipped you are to make decisions that align with your financial goals and risk tolerance.
Exactly. And that's a valuable takeaway for anyone navigating the world of insurance.
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From glowing praise to cautionary tales.
Yeah.
What does all this tell us about the state of the insurance industry?
Well,
what should our listeners be thinking about as they move forward with their own research?
The key takeaway here is that there's no one-size-fits-all best insurance company.
Right. It's not as simple as just picking the company at the top of the list.
Exactly. There's a lot more nuance to it.
Yeah.
The ideal choice for you depends on your individual needs, priorities, and risk tolerance.
Okay.
What matters most is finding a company that aligns with your values.
Right.
Offers the coverage you need at a price you can afford, and provides excellent customer service.
So it's about doing your homework,
Yeah.
comparing your options, and finding the company that feels like the right fit.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to ask questions. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the world of insurance and protect what matters most to you.
All right, that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive into the world of U.S. insurance companies.
But we're not quite done yet. We've still got some important ground to cover, including a discussion about the different types of insurance companies and how their structures can impact you as a consumer. So be sure to stick around for part 3, where we'll wrap things up and leave you with some final thoughts and actionable advice.
Welcome back to our deep dive. We've spent a good amount of time exploring individual insurance companies, but now I'm curious about the bigger picture.
Okay.
What about the different types of insurance companies themselves?
Right.
Does that matter when I'm making a decision?
That's a fantastic question, and one that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in comparing, coverage and premiums.
Right.
But understanding the underlying structure of an insurance company can give you some valuable insights into their priorities and how they operate.
Okay, so break it down for me. Right.
What are the main types of insurance companies?
Okay.
What are the key differences?
So the insurance world is broadly divided into 2 main categories.
Okay.
Mutual companies and stock companies.
Okay.
Now, mutual companies, as the name suggests, are owned by their policyholders.
Okay.
That means the policyholders have a stake in the company's success.
So if I'm a policyholder with a mutual company,
Right.
I'm not just a customer, I'm a part owner.
Precisely.
That's interesting.
And this ownership structure often translates into a greater emphasis on policyholder satisfaction.
Okay.
Profits are typically distributed among policyholders in the form of dividends or reduced premiums.
Oh, wow.
It's like getting a little bonus for being a loyal customer.
That sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
What about stock companies?
Okay.
How are they structured differently?
Stock companies are owned by shareholders
Okay.
who invest in the company and expect a return on their investment. Their primary goal is to maximize profits for those shareholders, which could potentially influence their decision-making.
So with a stock company, there's a bit more distance between the policyholders and the company's leadership.
Yeah, you could say that.
Their focus might be more on the bottom line, which could affect how they treat their customers.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
While stock companies are still obligated to serve their policyholders and adhere to industry regulations,
Right.
their decisions might be swayed by the need to generate returns for investors.
It sounds like there's a bit of a balancing act there. They need to keep both their policyholders and their shareholders happy.
Exactly.
So how do I know which type of company is right for me?
Right.
Is one better than the other?
There's no definitive answer to that.
Okay.
It really depends on your individual priorities and what you value most in an insurance company.
Okay.
If you prioritize policyholder satisfaction and potentially sharing in the company's profits, a mutual company might be a good fit.
And if I'm more focused on a company's financial strength and potential for growth, a stock company might be a better option.
That's a reasonable way to look at it.
Okay.
But it's important to do your research on individual companies, regardless of their structure.
Right.
A well-managed stock company can still provide excellent customer service and competitive rates, while a poorly managed mutual company might struggle to meet its obligations.
It seems like it all comes back to research.
Research.
Don't just assume that one type of company is inherently better than another.
Right.
Look at their track record, their financial stability, and their customer satisfaction ratings.
And don't be afraid to ask your insurance agent or representative about the company's structure and how it might impact your experience as a customer.
Okay.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah?
And the more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to make the best decision for your unique needs.
All right, I'm feeling much more informed about the different types of insurance companies out there.
As we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind as they embark on their own insurance journeys?
I'd say the most important thing is to remember that insurance is not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
What works for your neighbor or your colleague might not be the best fit for you.
Okay.
Take the time to assess your individual needs, your risk tolerance, and your budget.
And don't just go for the cheapest option without understanding what you're getting.
Right. Read the fine print, compare coverage options, and ask questions.
It's like anything else in life.
Yeah.
A little bit of effort up front can save you a lot of headaches and heartache down the road.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
And remember, insurance is an ongoing journey, not a destination. Your needs will change over time, so it's important to review your coverage regularly and make adjustments as needed.
This has been a fantastic deep dive into the world of U.S. insurance companies.
It has.
We've covered a lot of ground, from understanding the unique approaches of individual companies to exploring the differences between mutual and stock companies.
Hopefully you're feeling more empowered and informed about your insurance choices.
Yeah.
Remember, knowledge is your best defense against risk, and the more you know, the better equipped you'll be to protect what matters most to you.
Thanks for joining us on this insightful journey, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dives on topics you care about.
See ya.
Until next time, stay informed and stay protected.